Hello, and welcome to Executive Encore, the podcast for accomplished women who are crafting their next chapter with purpose and passion. We believe that this is not an end of our professional life, but the beginning of the most impactful act that we will ever have. Each week, we share stories of fulfillment and strategies from other women and sometimes gentlemen who come in and tell us about what they see in the transformation for a fulfilling future. I tried to say that a couple of times. Whether that's entrepreneurship, it could be consulting, or a new creative venture. So this is your Executive Encore, and it's an opportunity for you to remaster your life and work. So today's guest, I'm the host, Patricia Muir, and today's guest talks about her story, and it's a powerful testament to remastering life and work. Liz Hansen is a celebrated boudoir photographer and reinvention. So she's a champion for women who are experiencing a need for self-acceptance and also for a reinvention of their life. After dedicating years to being a full-time mom, Liz launched a thriving creative business that does more than just take beautiful pictures. And if you go onto her site, you will see her portfolio of beautiful pictures. Liz also speaks about championship for women's acceptance, and it helps women see themselves in a new light, often for the very first time. Liz believes in the power of being seen and unapologetic reinvention. Liz's work is centered on the idea that true confidence comes from within and embracing our own bodies. At every age, at every stage, it's an act of power. Her journey from motherhood to successful entrepreneur is an inspiring blueprint, which she will explain to us today for anyone who's looking to pivot and pursue a passion later in life. By later in life, we talk about maybe after corporate, or it could be a career break. It could be any time in a woman's life. We're thrilled to have her talk about reinvention, self-liberation, and the surprising power of vulnerability. Liz, welcome to Executive Encore. It's such an honor to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. That was a great intro. You said everything.
Okay. All right. So we want to dive right in because we're really excited about what you're going to share with us today. Your work is so deeply connected with women's empowerment. Let's start with your core philosophy. You talk about boudoir photography as a tool for self-liberation. Can you expand on that for us?
Yeah, if you've never heard of boudoir before, boudoir is just a fancy French word that means a woman's bedroom. But what I do at the Chicago Boudoir Photography Studio is I've created a safe space for women to come and create sensual, sexy photos of themselves in lingerie or nude photos in order to feel more confident and more comfortable in their own skin. I've been doing this for about 8 years. I've photographed more than 2,000 women. And I really believe that when women feel confident, when they feel comfortable in their own skin, they can go out and create big and bold things in the world. It starts within, and boudoir can be a tool for women to access that inner strength and that inner power. You might be out of your comfort zone. You might have never done something like this before, but it can have a life-changing effect.
Wow. So what is the typical duration of a boudoir, like the whole project? Tell us a little bit about that.
So it starts with a phone call. We are going to chat on the phone and design a boudoir photo shoot just for you. Every woman is different. Every woman's goals are different for her photo shoot. We're going to start there. Then on the day of the photo shoot, you're going to show up. You don't really have to do anything to prepare. Just show up just as you, because I have a beauty team on staff. We're going to do the hair and makeup for you. And then during the photo shoot, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and how to pose. You don't have to know how to do this. You don't have to practice in front of a mirror. We're going to turn on some music. We're going to dance. It's going to be really fun. And then I do something really cool right after your photo shoot. Most studios don't do this, but I show you a slideshow of your pictures on a screen at my studio right after your photo shoot. Why do I do this? Number one, of course, the instant gratification is really fun. But number two, I really want women to see themselves as the beautiful goddesses that they are before Photoshop, before a filter. You are fabulous and gorgeous just as you are. Now, of course, if you have a little acne or a bruise on your arm that you want me to take off, I will do that.
Mm-hmm.
But let's have that moment where you get to see and appreciate yourself just as you are.
Mm-hmm. That's quite profound, that whole process, because it moves from the focus of getting external validation to actually internal acceptance. I imagine many of the women you work with are navigating significant transitions in their life, much like our listeners. So this brings me to the next point, your story of reinvention. You transitioned from being a full-time mom to a successful creative entrepreneur. I would imagine children would help you to be creative. I'll give them credit. What did that journey look like for you?
So you're right. I have 2 teenage girls, and when they were little, I'm old enough that digital photography was kind of new when my babies were born, and I just loved taking pictures of them. And I took photos of them constantly, and I ended up taking some courses at my local community college to learn more about photography. I was a stay-at-home mom for like 9 years, and I was doing some photography and heard about a boudoir photographer in one of the photographer groups I was in on social media. And I was like, boudoir? Like, what? People do this? Like, you've got to be kidding me. But I was so intrigued, and I decided to sign up and do a boudoir photo shoot for myself. I was the person getting the pictures taken. And this was very much out of my comfort zone. I had been raised in a very conservative household and been told that good girls, quote unquote, good girls didn't do stuff like this, right? But I was curious. And so I went through with the experience, and I am not exaggerating when I say that it was a transformative moment for me.
Okay.
I walked out of that photo shoot feeling ready to show up in bigger and better ways in my life.
Okay.
And a few months later, I decided to open up my own studio to offer this same opportunity to other women.
Mm-hmm. So it really did spur the moment to spur you to do something really bold, because photography wasn't in your I guess your interest before your babies came along. You gained it then, but then to take it into a profession. Did you ever think that you'd be a professional photographer when you were younger?
No, never. And to be honest, I don't have a degree in photography. I didn't study it in college. I was a teacher before I got married and had kids. But I was always interested in this idea of beautiful things and beautiful photos. But it was a really big leap for me to open a business. I didn't have any business experience. I didn't really have any role models. And I had to take out a business loan to start the business. We didn't have enough money to start the business.
Wow.
So all of these things were like, it was a really big step for me. And it was a big risk. I didn't know if my business would fail or make money. And in fact, the first 19 months that I ran my business, I wasn't able to pay myself. I went to work for a lot of months before I was able to turn a profit. And that was hard, right? Like that took some persistence, but I'm so glad I took the leap. Even if my business had failed and not become profitable, I would have still been glad that I did it because I learned so much.
Yeah. You would have still had those skills that you could use in another project in your life, even if it was to be working with another photographer, right? So you were building those skills. And I'm glad to hear that it turned out for you, that you are the entrepreneur and you are the owner of the business. So what advice would you have for another woman who feels that it's their time to embrace something like that? Like it's a total reinvention. I can see it from, where you were being a mom, and it was a total reinvention, right?
Yeah.
And perhaps unapologetically, because you talk about that, it could be the first time in their lives. What advice would you give them?
I would say, first of all, I want to give you a big hug because I wish I'd had someone who was sort of beside me as I took the big step. And so if you don't have find a mentor, find a group, join a mastermind, join a Facebook group, go to meetups. because it is not easy to do this on your own. And there is someone who's walked this path before you, most likely. There is someone who's left a corporate job and started a business. There is someone who has a side hustle while they're working full time. There's someone who started an online business where they sell courses, right? Find those people and see if you can kind of, even if you have to pay to be in the group or be in the mastermind, it's worth it. It's an investment, because you will get so much further with a group and with other people than you can on your own.
Mm-hmm. Well, much like boudoir photography, women's networks are very powerful. We work very well together, even though some people think that women don't work well together. When they come to that professional status, they're entrepreneurs, I think that you were probably pleasantly surprised at the resources that you could tap, and the amount of other women who had experienced entrepreneurship were there to pull you up all the time, right?
Yes, we don't live, no man is an island and no woman is an island either.
No.
If you want to start a business, you're gonna need some support. You're gonna need a network. And if there aren't people in your immediate town or area, you're gonna find them on the internet. We live in a time where you can connect with people all across the world. So when I first started my business, I paid to join one of these mastermind groups, and it was a big help to me. And it was expensive at the time. I had to put on a credit card, but it was such an investment in my business and in my growth that I'm glad that I did it.
Yeah, that's an important point, Liz. It's an investment. Although sometimes it looks like a large investment, every bit of investment in yourself and in your skills is going to give you a return on investment at some time. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Your story is so powerful. It's such a powerful reminder that it's, I don't want to say never too late, but there's always a time in your life, several times, to redefine success and build something that you totally own. So you touch on a theme that it can be challenging for many women, which is a concept of nudity and its connection with confidence. My listeners will hear me reframe that to self-regard and self-trust. But I'd like you to explore a little more, tell us a little more about your wonderful phrase, which is nudity is not naughty.
Right. So the idea that a woman shows her nude body it's controversial, right? Women's bodies are often like a battleground, right? There are even, there are groups and people who really fear the female body and the female form. And what I'm here to say is, yes, the female body is powerful. It creates life, right? And it has a powerful effect. That doesn't mean it's bad. Right? Like fire is powerful. It can burn down your house, but it can also cook your dinner, right? So just because something is powerful doesn't mean that it's bad, right? And I really grew up with the idea that there was something really shameful about my body and that my body needed to change. I needed to fit into narrow beauty standards. I needed to maybe stay in the lines, not color outside the lines, right? Be kind of like this good girl that didn't do bad things, right? In order to be worthy or valuable. And what I'm here to say is that you have intrinsic worth. Your worth is not defined by your pant size. It's not defined by what you've done or haven't done. You are just inherently valuable and worthy. And part of what boudoir says is that you deserve to be documented, to be photographed at any age, at any stage. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's a powerful statement saying, I'm here and that's okay. I am allowed to take up space. I'm allowed to have a body. My body is not a project. It's not a problem that needs to be solved. My body is a beautiful vessel that allows me to experience life.
Yeah, it truly is. Yeah, it's magic. That's what I say. Our bodies are magic. Liz, is there anything else that you'd like to share before I wrap up? Something that I'd like you to share is just how empowering it is for us to have a relationship with our bodies, and how your work and story inspires you to convey that message to other women.
I think when women tap into their own innate power and recognize their own confidence, empowered women are going to change the world, right? We need more women who stand up and use their voice, right? And I hope that through my work, I'm helping encourage people to do that. You don't have to do a boudoir photo shoot to feel empowered, but that is one way that you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's a statement you can make, but find other ways that you can use your voice, make choices. Maybe it means getting out of a relationship. Maybe it means quitting your job. Maybe it means making a career move. Maybe it means moving cities. I don't know. What is it that is calling to you right now? What do you feel like you need to take that next step? I hope you feel emboldened to do that. Take a little risk. It's going to pay off in the end.
Mm-hmm. So boudoir Photoshop is definitely a risk, and personally being exposed and that sort of thing. So it is our attitudes towards our own body. So yes, you actually are asking them to get out of their comfort zone and be really out there, right? So I want to thank you very much for your wisdom and inspiring us to show up, be seen, and embrace our own power. I really believe that this the power of our body, the magic of our body. I think some of the standards that we've had, spoken to us is to try to constrain that power, because I think that's what people fear, is that we are so powerful, right? That they have to find a way of constraining us a little bit. So yeah. Do you want to say more about that?
Well, and you have to think, who benefits from women playing small and being quiet, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why we are sometimes told to sit down and be quiet. It's because other people benefit when we do that, right? And so you don't benefit from sitting down and being quiet, but someone else might. So when you start using your voice or stepping into your power, you might ruffle some feathers, because there are people who have benefited from you playing small, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not always easy, but take some small steps.
Yeah. Take the small steps. You'll find your way that way for sure. Yeah. So some key takeaways for me from our conversation is that reinvention is possible at any age. You mentioned that, at any stage, and you can be awesome at any age or stage. Second one is connecting with your body is a profound act of self-care. Now, that's not usually the message we get regarding self-care. It's not about connecting with the body. It's more about what we put on the body, right? So I really liked it when I thought about that. I thought that is profound self-care. And I'm going to ask our listeners to reflect really deeply on that for themselves. What does that mean to you? And the third takeaway is that your next chapter, whatever it is, has the potential to be the most fulfilling, the most rewarding, and the most powerful one. That's what we're going to stay with, that word, powerful. It can be the most powerful one yet. So, Liz, before we step away, for women who are listening, could you think of a time when you really experienced the power of your story?
Well, I always love to tell the story of Sarah, who came into my studio. She was a young mom. She had 2 little kids, and she experienced a sudden, massive heart attack in the middle of the night.
Oh.
And when she got in the ambulance, she literally physically died and was brought back to life by those shock machines that you see in the movies. And she, over the course of the next few months, had to have like about a dozen surgeries and had scars up and down her torso in order to repair her heart. And on the 1-year anniversary of her heart attack, she chose to be with me in my boudoir studio because she wanted to take nude photos of herself to celebrate her life and her body. She didn't want me to Photoshop out the scars. She didn't want to hide them. She wanted to say, I'm here and I'm alive and I'm grateful. And these scars are evidence that I made it through that experience.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have a heart attack to get to the place where you want to say, I appreciate my body and everything it brings to me, right? You can say that now. Mm-hmm. So that experience with Sarah helped me realize that the work I do is not just sexy photos. It's not just clicking a button. It's really helping people come to terms with something really important and valuable in their life.
And giving them an intimate space to do that as well, right? I would imagine that's very important to women who are going through a transition like that. Yeah. So I'd like to thank you again. And to our listeners, I'd like to ask them that if this episode inspired you, Here's the action you can take right now. Okay, so first of all, you'll see up in the corner, there is a QR code that you could subscribe to the newsletter for Executive Encore. Also subscribe to Executive Encore on YouTube and on Spotify or on Apple, where you listen to your podcasts. Connect with me by email for information about joining the Executive Encore Network for Women. It's a membership and community of women who are proving every day that their best chapters are still being written. Or you can add comments in the YouTube video and request more information. And the next thing you can do is please add comments to the podcast and to YouTube. Liz and I will answer any questions that you have. We'll be glad to see your comments there so that we can validate your choices, whatever you want to do. That's what we're all about. And when you do subscribe to the Sunday Encore newsletter, you will also have access to the ongoing story of Liz. Like after the video today, I will be writing a blog. And then on Sunday, which will be September 14th, Liz will be featured in that newsletter. You will also have links in the show notes and in the newsletter to the amazing offers that Liz has. I was looking at her website, and she has so many things that women can have access to that are inspirational and can help them in whatever stage of life they are. So you will see in the ticker at the bottom Liz's connections on social media, TikTok, everywhere. She really is everywhere on the internet, but go to her website. And Liz, you also have a free ebook, right? And people can access that ebook on your website, right? On that page.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously my studio is here in the Chicago area, but wherever you are in the world, I have some free resources for you. If you go to chicagoboudoir.com, you can download a free ebook, take a quiz. I have some printables with affirmations. I'd love to connect with you there.
Yeah, there's so much there. I encourage everyone to go on Liz's site because there are so many resources there. And I think you, while I was on your website, I noticed some people that were booking calls with you. So I would imagine some of those calls could end up being a visit to your studio, but I would imagine many of them are like an intimate conversation with you, right? How you empower women. So I think that would be a great option for people, and for you to be able to contribute even more as you do this work, right? It all links. So for all our listeners, all the links will be in the show notes. And I want you to remember that this is where your Executive Encore begins. This is where you start to live, work, and lead differently with a healthy mindset, self-acceptance, and self-trust. This week, I'd like to add, it's trust in the power of being seen and unapologetic through your reinvention. So until next time, take care of yourself, do what's best for you, and don't jeopardize what you've built for yourself.